Good morning, dear listeners. Today we come to the chapter 6 of the Kybalion and my book, The 7 Laws of Reality and Being, as its commentary. So the chapter 6 is the principle of rhythm or cyclicity. So the Kybalion says everything flows out and in, everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum-swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left, and rhythm compensates. So this is the principle which is called rhythm, but it's also explained as cyclicity. So this principle embodies the fact that everything in all our planes of existence, physical, mental, spiritual plane, everything expresses itself in rhythm, from action to reaction, from activity to inactivity, with a to and from movement, a flow and an inflow. A flow flows out and flows in, a swing forward and backwards, an advance and a retreat, a rising and a sinking, a giving and a receiving. So the very essence of the play of reality itself is always a spontaneous outpouring and indrawing of energy and manifestation. In fact, as we will see later, even on a cosmic level, universes come into being and then retreats into nothingness, and then they come into being again. So this principle of rhythm is connected to the principle of polarity that we spoken about in the previous podcasts, because the polarity, you need two poles to have a swing. You need two poles to have a movement. And so the swing of rhythm is not necessarily to the extreme poles, but simply towards first one pole and then the opposite pole in varying levels and degrees. For example, the rhythm motion, it can be observed not only in universe but everything, and even the human heart and the breathing of sentient beings is in and out of the lungs or in whatever forms they are. So there is always this principle of rhythm at work. And the rhythmic motion, this is very interesting because rhythm as a rhythmic motion is not necessarily always in a straight line. In fact, these motions can be in cycles. And cycle or cyclicity is just a more complex form of rhythm and is dependent on rhythm. And cyclicity basically happens when the action and reaction, or the attraction and repulsion, arising from a conflict between the force of the rhythmic swing in a straight line and on the one hand, and the attractive and repellent forces from without on the other hand, tend to swing the movement in a perfect circle around a central point of motion, manifesting a universal tendency to convert the straight path of the swing into a circular path or cycle. And there is proof of this in the movements of small and large bodies in the cosmic universe. Everything just goes in circle, or the electrons around the atoms, the planets around the suns, the galaxies around the universe, everything perpetually revolves in a circle around some given center point. And basically this is due to the principle of rhythm and cyclicity. And this principle keeps everything in motion. And also we can see this in living beings. They're born, we grow, we die, and according to the wisdom traditions we are reborn, and we complete full cycles. And even like on a person's mental state, our mental states are connected, and basically they have this periodic rhythmic or cycle. For example, we have enthusiasm in one moment, and then its opposite manifests, feeling a little bit depression in the next moment. These swings, mood swings, we call them, and this is in every sort and in every different emotion. We have this spiral, and cyclicity movement. Now, this is very easily observed, and basically there is also many methods that you can learn in my book, because many methods were explained also, but not all in the Kybalion, in different sources, how to escape this cyclicity or rhythm repeating law. And this is in the process. This is basically the process of transmutation into a spirality. So a spiral, because in a spiral you advance the central point of motion forward. So things don't just repeat and repeat, but they repeat, but the motion, the central point of the motion moves forward. And so this is there is an advancement in the spiral movement, but not in the cyclicity. So I think this is all for now, and we're going to talk more about the principle of rhythm in different spiritual and wisdom knowledge in the next podcast. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you soon on this channel.